Welcome to Human Function Performance. One of the most common things that I often hear from clients is they're not injured, but they do have some pain and discomfort with activity, whether it's activity at work or just in general working out. So what we'll do is what we call a physical assessment evaluation, where we take them through a full body analysis to look at their functional mobility. So we first start with their actual posture. What are the limitations as far as their posture goes? Maybe it's due to their hand dominance pattern, maybe it's due to previous injuries they've had before, but in general, there's some kind of restriction throughout the body that's limiting their ability to move like they want to. So we look at their functional analysis when we're talking about their assessment and posture as far as right versus left hand dominance pattern. We want to go in there and assess to see where the restrictions or limitations are at. So when we look at that assessment, we can tell right away, depending on where the rotation, maybe an elevation, or just in general a combination at the pelvis is, that's offsetting the pattern from head to toe. Whether you're an athlete or not, maybe you don't think you are, you're still functionally active, meaning you're moving. As long as you're sit to stand or going around, getting dressed, or just in general doing functional activities throughout the day, you're doing something that's causing movement to be offset, where certain areas, if they're not quite moving like they will create extra forces on those areas that are causing your pain or discomfort. So we go in there and we look at that rotational or maybe that offset elevation at the pelvis, because again, whether you move your arm or your leg, everything gets offset here at the core center point. So once we do the functional analysis and assessment, again, looking at the posture, we want to go on there and identify the limitations and restrictions throughout the body. So we start looking at areas from head to toe. That's looking at the movement, the mobility part. Then we'll assess and determine from an evaluation standpoint what's going to be key for mobility, movement, exercise to help restore this. There'll be a mixture of manual therapy, which is hands-on, to go in there, open up those joints that are restrictive, to then move through with what we call a movement mobility program. From here, you'll know off that hand dominant pattern what are the main areas to start. I always tell people the first thing you have to do first is start to open up those areas that aren't quite moving first to even get to the layers, the other parts of the body that you want to. Then you can move into more what we call a flexibility phase, where you're also looking at the muscles around there. So to be more dynamic as you're opening up, certain muscles have compensated over a period of time to where they've tightened up on you, limiting your actual ability to move. From there, you can look into the strength and stability program. Once you understand this, though, it's very key that you understand there's a crossover in many of these pathways, but it's also great to know that your strength and stability will come back really quick once these other areas of movement start to occur. So then you can even then look at situations such as balance or higher level activity. So whether, again, you're coming in from a situation of you just want to improve your work, or maybe your general life-to-life ADLs as far as activities of daily living, or maybe you're an athlete and you're trying to progress that next level without that continuous pain discomfort, so that you can go work out, whether it's weightlifting, running, biking, hiking, golf, whatever sport it is that you're doing, and move without potential injury or just in general the discomfort that you're feeling. This expedites your ability to get where you need to be to improve your all functional mobility, but overall performance. Here you can move from that mobility movement phase to the performance phase and look at how to ignite the body to do what you want it to do at a higher level. Then you can also start to assess and see from this person, whatever they're coming in for, what are all the other areas or modalities that they can be implementing to help with their recovery. Recovery is the single most opportunity missed that most people miss out on, because it's actually where you let the body recover, whether it's from a muscle standpoint, joints, your pain, inflammation that you're experiencing, or just in general, overall ability to adapt to these higher levels of activity that you're participating in. So when you're looking at the physical assessment evaluation, we want to be clear. What is it that you're trying to get? What's the result? What have you already participated in, and or any limitations that you've had in the past, whether there's certain injuries or other diagnoses that you've had that may be contributing to the overall big picture. Again, this is a functional analysis where you're looking at it holistically, a lot of moving pieces in the body, but at the end of the day, once you can identify the main key areas, you have an optimal idea of where to start, the framework to use, but also the key players that you want to identify and address when it first comes on to improving your ability to move without that pain and discomfort, again, to optimize your overall human function and performance.